Hey everyone, Mrs. Klein here. I'm back. So school is starting to roll. So students haven't started back yet at my school, but this past Thursday we started our professional development. So the first day, Thursday, all day we sat in meetings, going over our school's procedures for this year. PBIS, best practices, disciplinary, tiered measures, and data from last year, testing scores, and all of that. So we went over all of that yesterday, and then not yesterday. We went over all of that Thursday, and then yesterday we made homeroom calls. We actually watched a video put out by our parish, specifically to the Tangipahoa parish, to encourage us, which I really appreciated. It was this, I've never heard of him before, but maybe he's very well known because he got a Grammy. So somehow they got a man called Mickey Smith Jr., I don't know if he still is, but he was a school band director, and in the video he has so here's how it went, right? So Friday the schedule was to first watch this motivational video, and then work on homeroom calls, and then do our crisis management session, and then continue to work on homeroom calls. And so in this motivational video, Mr. Mickey Smith Jr., I'm not sure what he prefers, but anyway, he has his saxophone on him, so that he can play the saxophone, and then he talks about being a band teacher, and I'm not sure if that's still what he does, or if he's just a musician now, but it was an excellent motivational video. Highly recommend him. He did the video was great, good quality. His speech was wonderful. It was long, but it was wonderful. He really spoke to, he's from Louisiana, and I feel like I felt like he understood us, right? I really appreciated them finding a man who is from where we live and work, and who really spoke to us on a personable level, and really, it really touched all of our hearts. It was just a video. It wasn't like a Zoom call, but it really felt like he was speaking directly to us, to each of us in the room. Because, we just put it up on it's not a smart board anymore. We have box lights now, but basically put it up on the board, and we watched it all, not all of us, like 3 or 4, 5 people in a room. We all, per room, we all kind of watched it and sat together. And he really, he told the story of his grandmother, and how he had to, he picked up the saxophone, and he didn't, nobody's a natural at, I don't want to say nobody, but most of us aren't naturally gifted. As soon as you pick up an instrument, you know how to play it, right? But he kept working at it, and then was able to get, was able to be so successful, and somehow he ended up as a band teacher, but eventually he ended up with enough success to win a Grammy. And I'm not sure what the Grammy was won for, if it was for the particular song he wrote or for something else he did, because I don't really follow that stuff. I don't watch the Grammys, or I don't follow that stuff. I don't have cable. I don't keep up with that kind of stuff, but man, his speech was, and he included scripture. And I think all of us appreciated that. It spoke to all of our hearts, because here in Louisiana, we, I don't want to say I don't know about like in a place like Baton Rouge, where it's really big, but at least in Tangipahoa Parish, I feel like a lot of us go to church. I feel like a lot of us have some kind of religious or spiritual connection, right? And most of us are Christian in some way, one way or another, some denomination of Christian. And so it really, and I mean, I would say a lot of teachers are too, like specifically, you know. And so I really, really appreciated how personable he was, how much I felt like he understood us because he was from here, and the stories he told about his grandma. I mean, like we all were on the same wavelength in that room, right? It was truly motivational. And then and it has given me some ideas of things to do with the students. Just like not like indirectly gave me some ideas. And I'll talk about that later, to do with my homeroom students, to like build a community. That really motivated me, because I was thinking about doing this community project with my students, and my homeroom students, and with how overwhelming it gets at the beginning of the year, as soon as I thought about doing this community project, I was like, no, that's too much work. I'm not going to do it. And then after this motivational video, now I really feel like I want to do it again. Despite the fact that it might require a little bit more effort, but honestly, I think it's going to be worth the work, right? The time that you put into building your community, you're really going to see dividends in the long run on them getting along together and feeling valued. So, I got to go to school now. So today is Saturday, and I started working out. Okay, so I said in a previous video to relax. I relaxed all summer. I didn't worry about anything. I didn't really have full control over what I did to my classroom, and I just said, I got to give it to God and relax about that, right? And while I still think that's true, I did not take my own advice. Like, I did relax all summer, and then right after new teacher orientation for the parish, I instantly started panicking and wanting to do everything to my classroom. I mean, everything. Like, paint it. I mean, painting alone is a ton of work. Oh my gosh, I had no idea when I embarked on this journey. I was, if I had known, I might not have done it. But I'm glad I did it. But so after that new teacher orientation and talking to the other teachers who were fixing up their room, I just couldn't help myself. I was like, okay, I have to do something. I really want this room to be comfortable for my students. I want them to feel how much I care about them through the way the room is set up. And also, we don't know, we think the students will be, they're going to stay in their cohort, but they're going to move from class to class, right? But with the COVID numbers rising, that may change. It may be that the students stay in the room all day while we rotate. And I think there's pros and cons to that, right? There's pros of staying in their room in the sense that there's a lot less messiness with transitions. Where do all the fights happen? In the cafeteria, in the hallway, before school, right? So when the kids aren't moving, there basically aren't any, their fights really don't happen nearly as much. And so there's like pros to that, but then the cons are they drive each other absolutely bonkers, sitting in one room all day and their teachers rotating to them all year is, I think, hard on them because they get on each other's nerves. And and they do get up and move around. So like last year they did get up and we did go noodles and we got up and moved around inside the classroom as much as we could, and then the PE teacher would take them outside. So it's not like they didn't ever get up, but it's a little bright on my sunglasses. But it's just not the same. And they're in 5th grade, right? And they're 10 years old. And so they're kind of on that cusp of like, they should be rotating, but it wouldn't hurt to necessarily sit still, to sit, it really does help with the organization. Like, they don't lose anything basically for the most part, because if they're not rotating, they're not losing stuff, so that's another thing, right? But I think it's good. After last year, like, I think there were a lot of good things that of staying in a classroom all year, but then after thinking about it over the summer, I think it's better. I think the best of both worlds is that they stay in their cohort and they rotate to the next class, rather than in previous years before COVID, they didn't even have the same cohort of kids. They would rotate, and they would have their own class schedule. It'd be like a high school where basically you don't rotate with your homeroom students. You would just have random schedules, right? So you might end up with a different set of kids in every room. And again, there are pros and cons to that, but I feel like that's too much for the 10-year-olds. Like, it's doable, but I just don't think I think the best of all worlds is that they stay in their cohort, but they still rotate, because that gets them that teaches them how to transition, but they're all moving in the same direction. So it helps with traffic in the hallways, and knowing where they're going, and having their stuff ready, and helping each other with their assignments. You know what I mean? Like, and knowing when things are due. They really can support each other more when you have the same kids in every class. That means you might still get on each other's nerves, but you got to work out those problems. If you're in that same cohort of kids, one way or another, you have to learn to work together. And you don't have to learn to work with 100 kids. You just have to learn to work with 30, which is a big deal. It's hard for kids to try and learn how to interact with 100 other kids. And I think it's a little bit easier when it's only 30. So, anywho, I've been working on my room, and I'm on my way to my room right now. It's like 8 o'clock, and I'm Saturday, and I have to create a virtual meet and greet video, pre-recorded video to send out to upload to the drive and send out to families. So they want, and for obvious reasons, they want me to, in the video, show off my room and get the students acclimated before school starts. And by the end of today, they want this video uploaded. School wants this video uploaded. So I need to finish as much as I can. I won't get the whole room done, but I want to finish painting my cubbies. I finished painting the walls, which almost killed me, but I finished painting the walls, cement block walls, you know what I'm saying? So painful to have to paint, and so dirty, so, never clean, So, I need to clean out the cubbies so that I can paint them. I'd like to use them, but they may be forced to be used for storage purposes, because I'm kind of sharing the room with another person. So, I've done a lot to this room that I wanted to do, but I won't get to do everything I might want. There may be extra shelves I may not want, or storage, I want to use the cubbies but then again, I may not be able to, right? If the kids stay in the same room all day, they can use the cubbies, but if they're rotating, they probably can't share supplies, you see what I'm saying? So, it may not matter whether or not I use the cubbies for storage or not. They may not be able to be used. We'll have to see. I don't know. But I'm headed over there. I painted the walls. I need to paint the cubbies. I also plan to hang some pendant lights. I bought these T-hooks to be able to hang these pendant lights. Just a couple of them. So I made a mistake, and I painted my walls pure white rather than like a house. You know how interior houses, they're not pure white. They're like a grayish, like a off-white or a beige, or and that's what I should have done. I made a huge mistake in doing a pure white. I just have huge regrets, but it's too late now. I cannot I may never redo this room after this, because it was a ton of work, and also buying paint is expensive. I ran out of white paint. I still need to buy more, but that may not happen till next weekend after the students are back. It's like, on a Saturday, you paint the last few touches. It's just a few. It's not the whole room. It's just a few places that it needs an extra coat, or a spot I missed. So I also need to hang. So I bought these really cute curtains off of Amazon, and I'm excited about them. But the curtain rods that are already there are too cheap. Like we have very wide windows. I have two very wide windows, and not very long, but wide. And so I got these curtains off Amazon, and they're too heavy for these cheap curtain rods. Like, they're bending in the middle. I had to put a rubber band in the middle to keep it from caving in the middle. So I went to Home Depot, because it's just what's closest, and they had I think what is going to be more sturdy, still kind of cheap, but more sturdy curtains. There was I almost ended up buying very expensive curtain rods, and I was just very lucky that I found, because they're wide windows, so it was a little harder, but I was able to find some relatively $15 a rod, which means it's $30 total. It adds up pretty quickly. But I got these curtains, and I got these better curtain rods, and I brought a drill, which there's wood. Luckily, where the windows are, there's wood ends where the screws have to go into, so I don't have to figure out, I don't have a drill strong enough to drill into concrete, cement, whatever it is, cement blocks. So luckily I can just drill a better curtain rod situation. And I don't plan to leave this school, but if for whatever reason something happens and eventually in years to come I leave, I will be taking these curtain rods with me. That's $15 a curtain rod. You know what I'm saying? And I'll keep the cheap ones on hand so I can replace them, right? But I don't anticipate leaving. I really think I'm gonna be at this school forever. You never say forever, but I think I am. It's near where I live. I like this school. It definitely could use a facelift. The school is kind of rough looking, but and they don't keep the air conditioning on all the time. And in Louisiana, if you don't keep the air conditioning on all the time, they keep it on when someone is on campus, but after 3 o'clock and over the summer, they keep the air conditioners off. Well, the humidity here, it's just creating all kinds of mold, and there's bugs who like to live in that kind of climate. So it's just not good for all the paper and books and wood beams and stuff that we have. Most of the walls are concrete blocks, but there's still wood in there. If you don't turn on that air conditioner, that stuff goes bad. So that's why I think the school looks a little rough and could use a fresh coat of paint on top of that. But that's the main reason why it needs a little facelift. They really should just leave the air. I know it. I'm sure it's expensive, but they really should leave that air conditioner on. It's just not. Anyway, let's see what else. I got curtains. I got curtain rods. I got to hang. I got these macrame things to hang from the ceiling, and I have wood beams, so I can either hang them from the wood beams or use my T-hooks and hang them from the other parts of the office type ceiling, the cross sections, right? Like the office type tile. That's what we have. So I'm gonna kind of look at it. I'll try the T-hooks first, because that'll be the easiest to just hook. I don't have to do any surgery to hang these T-hooks, and see how I like them, and see if I can just kind of hang. It's a boho style, right? So I'm gonna see if I can kind of hang them around the room. And my curtains are I have 2 sets of curtains on each window. So I have boho curtains that are kind of sheer, and then I have like these mustard, like I think it was called Desert Mist on Amazon, yellowish curtains on for to go with the boho curtains, right? So I'll do the 2 boho panels on the outside, and then the 2 yellow blackout panels on the inside. And because if I overlap them, it wouldn't be wide enough to cover the window. Yeah, I need really 3 to 4 panels to cover the width of the window. So I'm really trying to go with the boho theme. So the pendant lights are like a wicker type pendant light, like a wicker shade type thing. And I have these macrames I'm gonna hang, and I'll either or both. I probably will get. I saw on Amazon they have these plastic pots, and so I think I'll get these like plastic pots and with dried flowers. There's this really cool succulent and dried flower shop in Baton Rouge that I want to go get. It's kind of a drive, but I would be going over there now if I didn't have to do this video today. So I want to get as much done with the room as I can. I also have to finish my bulletin board. So I have like these like bulletin boards with like a burgundy. Went to Hobby Lobby and I got these cloths, like burgundy cloths, and I got burlap ribbon, and because the ribbon was half off, so I got this burlap ribbon for the trimming around the board. And then I also bought these like mustardy yellow tassels. Okay. So, and I'll probably make, maybe either as I'm talking about it or at the end of the video, I can post pictures of kind of my progress on the room. It's probably not going to be done, like the whole entire room. I'm going to get a lot done today, but probably, I'm not going to get fully done with the whole room until maybe next week, the next weekend, you know what I'm saying? So, I got the macrame, I got the bulletin board, and I also have some, like, beige or, like, white tassels that I'm gonna hang. So I'm trying to just go with that boho theme. And I also got a cute area rug from Ross, which is, like, $50. I kind of want another area rug, but, I have to kind of look at where my spending is at and decide, because there's a few things I still want. I really want this pencil dispenser. Oh my gosh, on Amazon, I want it. I want this pencil dispenser. It's like a straw dispenser, but for pencils, and I want it so bad. But it's $40. I can't believe it's $40 for this thing, but I want it. So that may be something but I have to look at all the things I want and then prioritize what I think is most important or most useful. I think my video's been crooked the whole time. To making the room look nice and be functional, you know. So I want another area rug, but I may not have the funds for that. We'll see. But there's like a student center, like there's a student table center, and so I was thinking about putting a rug over there. But of course, the more rugs you have, the more vacuuming you're gonna have to do. So it's like, you know, pro and con that out. Is there anything else? I got, I want to get some fairy lights. I definitely want some fairy lights. I just haven't decided what kind of fairy lights, like what kind of, like, bulb. Like, do I want a round bulb? Do I want no bulb? I probably want a bulb. I think what I want is, like a bulb cover is what I really mean. I think they have, like, this, it looks like some kind of jute covered, or, you know, some kind of twine covered a bulb cover for some fairy lights I saw on Amazon. So I think I want to get that. And then also the other thing, and I'll kind of half mention this now, but we'll see what happens. The community project I want to do, which would cost money, but maybe the school would pay for it. I don't know. Hopefully I'll have class money I can maybe I could use on this. I want to buy, actually it's so cheap, well, it depends on, things add up, like I said. But the community project I want to do with my homeroom students is plants. So I want to buy some clear, so I'm an English teacher. I'm not like a science teacher, or, I'm not like a farmer type, I know a little, I don't really know much, let's say that, about planting things, I know a little, but not a lot, not much. And, but I want to do that. I want to do buy like little nursery planters, plastic nursery planters, clear ones, and then maybe buy some seed pouches and let them decide what things they want to plant. I need to look at and I have looked at like what seeds are good to germinate in August, like planting in August, like a winter, what's a good winter crop, and so what's good for South Louisiana, what's good for this time of the season, and vegetables versus flowers, and I think I want to get like 35 of, even though I have 27 students in my homeroom, but I think I want to get 35 planters, so that if some of them don't make it, I can replace them, so that students have something, and I figure each kid will have their own little planter that they can like take care of, and I have my room faces outward toward like basically a backyard type situation, so we have a place behind our classroom where we can like water them and take care of them and watch them grow, and they could even maybe water it before they walk in or something, I don't know, we'll see. And then and still get sunlight. It's a shaded area, which is nice, right? Like that's like perfect. You don't want it out in the sun because it'll scorch them. I think in the shade, but still get sun. Depending on what you're growing, I guess. I need to do a lot of research, and then have like an extra 5 or 6 so that we all take care of as a community. Like each kid has their own. But then we have 5 or 6 extra just in case someone's plant dies that we all take care of, that we can replace if someone's dies. You know what I'm saying? Which I kind of need to see how many, like what's the ratio of survival, because maybe I need more than that, right? But I think that would be a really great community building project, something that they could take responsibility for, and if someone's absent, we could have a point person who waters the absentee plants, you know what I'm saying? And it produces something beautiful, and, depending on what they choose, like give them some options of things that can survive in this season, and they could paint part of what they could do is, I was going to have them paint the whole pot, like plastic pot, to be their own, but maybe do 3 sides instead of all 4 sides, maybe just do 3 sides, so that the side that they don't color in the nursery pot, they can watch grow, right? If we plant the seed right there on the edge. So, I just have, and so all of this is just an idea. Maybe it's better in theory than in practice. We'll see. Like I said, I haven't done it before. I'm not much of a farmer type person, but I know some people who could be helpful, and then I have to get approval from the principal, which I think they would love it, because one of our books in the spring, not now, but in the spring, one of our books that, like a supplemental text, is called Seed Folks, and we read not all of it, but a lot of the chapters in it, and it's like this community garden that this urban city, a community garden being built in an urban setting, and with a lot of diverse cultures, coming together as a community. And so I think the kids will love it. They'll feel a part of something, and and feel valued and important, have responsibility for something. And I always think, even though I'm not much of a plant person, I've done a lot of work out in nature, right? For many years, I watered plants. I worked for my dad watering plants, and on an arboretum. So I mowed the grass, and I lived in Mississippi for some years with my dad, and I mowed the grass there 8 hours a day. You know, as often as the grass grew, I mowed it. You know, it's a butt ton of acres, you know what I'm saying? And I would water the plants, which I don't know how effective that was, because I mean, the plants are going to live or die no matter how much I water them. But you know, I did a lot of hard work out in nature. So I appreciate nature, even though I've never really grown a crop myself. I really do appreciate it. And I feel like at a time where I was kind of lost, you know, at a time as a teenager, I think a lot of teenagers feel that way, where you just don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know, haven't figured yourself out yet. Working in nature, I think, really kind of grounded me as a person, and helped me like think. And I think work is good. Like, I think kids doing work is good for their, like, for me, maybe not like, obviously not back-breaking work, but some kind of work, like having jobs. Like, it makes them feel part of a community. Like having jobs in the classroom. Like I would pay the kids in gum. Like, if I was like, I rotated on my roster so that everyone got an opportunity. And every day, at the end of the day, before we left school and got on the bus, you know, a kid would one kid would be sweeping, the other kid would be riding the buses down as they called them out to know, you know, so that the kids knew when to release to the buses. And so they all had little jobs here, there, and yonder, and I would pay them in like candy or gum or whatever. And they really appreciated that. They loved it. And frankly, I think they would have done it even if I didn't give them something for it. I felt responsible to give them something, right? But I think they would have done it without that. And they really like being given a job and an opportunity to take care of the classroom. And let me tell you, my classroom was always like the cleanest compared to, you know, the janitor told me at the end of the year, he said, Miss Klein, of all the rooms, your room was always the cleanest. Sometimes I wouldn't even have to go in there and do much, because, you know, because I always had my students do it for us. You know what I'm saying? It's their mess, and we work as a community to clean it up. Whether or not you made the mess, we're all cleaning this room at the end of the day. In fact, I want to go buy, that's another thing on my list I have to decide if I want to go get, but I really want to go get a push mop, you know. I don't know, she must have had a Swiffer in there at one point, but it's not in there now. But I want to go get like a push mop, and maybe I'll get like a Swiffer type thing, so that not only can we, because we were just sweeping, but now I think I want to add in the addition of mopping, and because I think that would also make, you know, and maybe I'll have someone else do like some dusting or whatever, so that we can really keep that room clean, because I really feel like that was not really done, was the dusting, and that's a big deal, you know. As far as keeping the air clean. And I also want to buy a new filter for my air purifier at home, and bring my air purifier that's at home, bring it to school, because it needs it. And maybe, I don't know if it helps with COVID or not, but hey, at least the air will be cleaner, you know. So anyway, I think I'll probably do another video talking about my room, because I could sit and talk and talk and talk. But really, I want to wait until I really completely finish it with it, and then I can kind of just talk about what it was and what it is now, and I can show pictures and stuff. Because there's so much more things that I bought. I'm actually collecting a list of things that I bought and putting a price tag on them, and really looking at, okay, and this is with the help of my mom. So my mom really stepped up, and because I wasn't going to do anything, because I couldn't afford it. I really, with a toddler at home, I could not afford to do much to this room other than paint it, right? And I was so depressed about it. I was so like, you know, what I wanted to do and what I could afford to do were two different things. And there's nothing, you know, it was just so depressing. I want these kids to walk into my room and feel like it's a magical place. You know, that's what I did to my son's nursery, right? I worked very hard on the nursery, and I built up this stuff over time, and it felt like and I also had the help of my mother-in-law to buy stuff for my son's nursery. And, you know, I made it Hobbit themed, and it was like, a magical place. Every time I walked into my son's nursery, it was like walking into this like nature-y magic room. And it was just cozy. And that's the experience I want my students to have when they walk into my room, you know? And it just hurts my heart that I feel like I can't, that I felt, it hurt my heart to feel like I couldn't, like I had that dream, but I couldn't afford it. And, you know, I made an Amazon list. Maybe I should have posted it in more places. And I waited too late, right? That's part of the problem, was I waited till the last hour to decide to do all this, you know? So that's my fault. But I think, but luckily I told my mom about what I wanted to do and what I had already bought, but I couldn't really do any more. And she was all excited for me, and she helped me. And, you know, transferred some funds so that I could buy some really nice things for my room. And so I'm doing this for my students, but I'm also doing it because my mom is helping me, and I really appreciate that. And I'm gonna have this beautiful room, and I get to, you know, even if I have to change rooms or whatever, I'll still have all this stuff, so I'll still be able to create this magical space no matter where I'm at. But I'm hoping I don't have to change rooms again, because I don't want to repaint ever again, even if it's not the color I would like. Even though I painted it the room is too white, I don't ever want to do it again. It's so much work. All right, I have so much more I could talk about, but I'm gonna finish the video, and then maybe I'll do another video of like before and after. I wish I had done a video of the before. I took some pictures of before, but not a video. But I'll do a video of the after maybe, and just kind of looking around the room and just show off how happy I am with it. All right, I just arrived at school. I really need to I say just, probably been here a while, but yeah, it's 8:30. I gotta get to work. I still gotta finish my homeroom calls, gotta finish the room, I gotta make this meet and greet video, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.